back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts. We're winning. There is so much winning going on. I can't tell you how excited I am about tonight's show. Now, I understand at least Eastern time, it's 10 o'clock. If you're in the UK, you're just sunk. I don't know why you're up at 3 a.m. Here's the deal. There were a lot of things that happened today. Two of them, which were massive. You saw the title. We're going to get to both of them. Where are we going first? Today is November 29th, 2017. Yes, it is late in the evening. But what better way to spend your
Well, it's almost like
evening hours.
This tweet came out before 9:30 a.m. So 12 hours later, we're going to bring you the news. I love this guy. He says Trey Jenkins tweets out before 9:30 just this morning. Matt Lauer is out at NBC. President of the United States shares Jayda Fransen's anti-Muslim videos. President calls for a boycott of a U.S. media organization. Former Bosnian Croatia military chief drinks poison at war crimes
and
trials
kills himself
on TV, live, kind of like.
Yeah.
The president calls for investigation into Joe Scarborough
and his dead intern.
And
that died in his office.
Terminates 150 employees. All before 9:30 this morning.
Big day.
What? How are we not? How are we not like winning? I mean, except for the Bosnian Croatian. That was just like
that. Just kind of goes. I'm not really sure which side to take there. I mean, it's just a shame. But here's the thing: are we going to cover that, or can I give him my punchline now?
Punch the line. I don't know if we want to show a man dying on TV. Like,
no, show the video. Do you have it up?
I can get it up.
Get it up. All right. So here's the deal. This man, I don't even know his name, but he was being tried for war crimes that happened in like 1993, 94-ish. He was also tried in 2013. Today he was sentenced with 20 years. Here's the deal. He blew up a bridge. Okay, so the Bosnian and Croatians were kind of battling with the Muslims against, I think, the Turks. I'm not 100% sure about that. Sorry, I know this is the news. I'm supposed to be giving you facts, but that's not the point. The dude tries, kills himself. That's the point.
His name is 72-year-old Slobando Preljak.
Yeah, okay, so there is that. So anyhow, they're fighting with the Muslims, but then all of a sudden they decide that maybe the Muslims being in our country is not such a good thing. So then they're trying to eradicate the Muslims from their country, which kind of makes sense. And so that's when he blew up this bridge, and I guess it just caused like literally emotional turmoil to these people. I don't know, and he gets 20 years. I don't know. So
he is one of 6 former Bosnian Croatian leaders found guilty of crimes against humanity and war crimes, including the rape and murder of Bosnian Muslims.
So, yeah, I'm not saying that he's on the side of right. Listen, he's probably not an awesome dude. However, the state-run television is the place that claimed, yes, he died in a hospital after he, drinks the beautiful poison. Former Bosnian journals, whatever, listened to the verdict. General, being read against him. This is his face. He heard the 20-year sentence had been upheld. He says, I'm not a war criminal. I am rejecting your verdict with contempt. He drank from a small vial and said, I just drank poison. The judge suspends the proceeding, freaked out face here, and an ambulance was called. The Prime Minister himself, the other Prime Minister confirmed that he was dead.
He had been convicted of war crimes.
Right. No, I'm sorry. I'm still processing in my head. Let's see. His offenses occurred during the conflict following the breakup of the former Yugoslavia in the 1990s. All right. So here's my punchline. I don't know. I'm totally making this up, but question everything.
I think he started to die.
He did start to die before. It was almost like an act. I don't know. But what I'm saying is,
he started to fall before
it was the state-run television that claimed he was dead. It seems like there's no other more convenient place to stage a death than when all eyes are on you and it's being recorded. You know what I mean? And his own prime minister right away is the one that confirmed that he had died. So I'm saying that it is possible that he faked his death, knowing he's going to go to jail for 20 more years. Could be. I don't know. Maybe the dude really died. But it smells fishy to me. Does it smell fishy to anybody else?
This is the Universal UN War Crimes Tribunal. And so, you know, it does smell a little fishy. Everybody's
maybe he did. Maybe he just manned it. He bit down on the thing. You know what I'm saying? The cyanide, whatever. I don't know. Could be just a fake death. Could be. I'm not calling it.
I'm not laughing about it, but I think Michelle's right.
I'm just saying.
I think she's right, too.
If I had the power to do it, I might do it. I might do it. If I'm facing 20 years in prison and I have the country backing and supporting me, I don't know.
All right, so I want to go
Could
first.
Could be arsenic. It would smell like almonds. Thank you, Jessica Flesher.
I absolutely love Donald Trump's Twitter feed, especially today. It has been explosive. And we thought that we were winning with the Pocahontas tweet, which I found that some people on the right... Yeah, the Pocahontas thing. Sorry.
Was not a tweet. He said that out loud.
Yeah.
He did.
The Pocahontas thing, I thought we were winning right there. I think that 25 to 30% of the population has a sense of humor. And those of us who do found it incredibly funny, including Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, even Tucker got behind him.
But then there were some people who I called getting their panties in a wad on Facebook.
Yeah, they
who
did.
all said, this is not presidential, blah, blah, blah. It was funny.
I would not have said it.
Funny.
But then again, there's a lot of things that Trump says that I would not have said.
Right. So, we're going to get to the Jayda Fransen tweets, but first we're going to get to this one. Wow! Matt Lauer was just fired from NBC for inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace. Mm-hmm. But when will the top executives at NBC and Comcast be fired for putting out so much fake news? Check out Andy Lack's past as the head of NBC. He then says, so now that Matt Lauer is gone, when will the fake news practitioners at NBC be terminating the contract to Phil Griffin? And will they terminate low ratings Joe Scarborough based on the unsolved mystery that took place in Florida years ago? Investigate. Now, he's referring to the fact that a young woman, I think she was an intern when Joe Scarborough was a congressman, just randomly had a heart flutter in her 20s, fell over, hit her head. The coroner said she died. No foul play. I say investigate. Donald Trump says investigate. And it's awesome. So,
can I just, because this is real deal, and for those of you that are joining us new, just don't know Resistance Chicks from InfoWars, we welcome you for being here. My mother calls me aside and says, your bangs aren't working that way. You need to fix them. God love a mama. God love her. Thank you, Mother. It's like having your zipper down and no one tells you. Okay.
Michelle has a thing with that because it happened to her in front of an audience, and she's like, always tell me when my
She never
zipper's
told
down.
me. She's sitting, you'd think you could have given me a code like a Z, like Z, down, fix it. And then, I don't know, she's like, yeah, but would you have fixed it then? If I was standing, I might have slid behind the podium or something. Come on.
Juanita Roderick. Andy Lack just fired Matt Lauer today. Why is Andy Lack still at NBC? His actions delaying my interview until after impeachment hearing of Bill Clinton is disgraceful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so who wants to hear the salacious details of what Matt Lauer is supposed to have done? I'm going to see if I have it. I know I have him up here. Let me see.
Do you have his interview with Bill O'Reilly?
No,
because that is hilarious. He's really grilling Bill O'Reilly, and here you're guilty.
I have the Katie Couric.
Guilty as sin, mister.
You hosted the Today Show with Matt Lauer for 15 years. What is Matt's most annoying habit?
Whoa. Oh, wait. Hang on. You're going to have to press pause. Pause. Oh. Stop. All right. So this is Real Deal Resistance Chicks.
You forgot
we are working on the sound system of Resistance.
Our old camera picked up both both our voices and when we played. And then we got this brand new camera. It's supposed to be this awesome camera.
And then we got a microphone. And so hang on. Rewind that. Play it again so that they can hear.
You co-hosted the Today Show with Matt Lauer for 15 years. What is Matt's most annoying habit?
Curse word coming.
He pinches me on the ass a lot.
Wow! I wouldn't have a problem with that. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Katie Couric did not leave it.
You know, she doesn't look like she's making that one up.
Yeah, no. That kind of looks real. And it was it wasn't just a thing where she was just kind of laughing it off. The question was, what is the most annoying thing about him?
Yeah.
So she obviously doesn't like it.
Right. Exactly.
But then, Katie, you didn't put a stop to it, sweetheart. So you're just as guilty.
Yeah, where's the one where she... Okay, here's this other one.
Go on ahead.
He says, keep bending over like that.
So, Matt, you just see that, right?
These are just crosstalks, and I'll meet you outside.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm sweater. Keep bending over like that. It's a nice view.
Who says that? On camera. To Katie Couric.
You know, Owen Schroyer on
He
InfoWars.
pinches her rear and then says, I mean, this is just getting out of
He
hand.
says something really interesting, and this is so true. Whenever you have a microphone on, and I know this, he said you learn this in broadcasting. If a microphone is anywhere, he said, even if it is unplugged, you don't say anything that you don't want picked up. That might not, you know what I mean? If it might not be acceptable, you just don't say it. So Matt Lauer is so degenerate in his mind that he thinks that that is okay.
Now, this is where it gets juicy.
Oh, sorry, it got way too loud. We're still working on the...
Really weird. Okay. His office was a secluded space. He had a button under his desk that allowed him to lock his door from the inside without getting up. This afforded him the assurance of privacy so that when women would come in, he could lock them in so that no one from the outside would open the door while he was being sexually inappropriate.
Now, did anybody else coin the phrase, or did I really come up with it by myself?
No, they did. It was a title.
Yeah,
a Breitbart article.
Well, I did think it myself. Lauer's Lair. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's this little office where he can have his little, shenanigans and lock people in there.
Now, I gave him the 2-second Roy Moore test where I wanted to know what these allegations were. I wanted to know how prevalent they were and how many people knew them.
Right.
He's guilty of sin because everyone seems to have known.
Right.
Megyn Kelly's brand new there. She said she heard rumors but never experienced it herself. She had hoped they weren't true. Okay? The NBC executives covered it up. The producers of his show are coming out saying this is what happened. Multiple people, producers of the show.
But Leah, they've actually issued a statement that says that they would like to make sure that the work environment is the most safe place for women and people. Well, if that really was your intent to make the workplace a safe place for women and people, then you might have fired Matt Lauer.
Did they really say and people?
Yeah, the girls on the news said. She said safe place for women and people.
This morning, his co-host,
almost like women aren't people.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so
She noticed her gender pronoun. That's just part of the vacuum.
That's
Real deal here. Come right into our house. That's the filter for the vacuum. This is why you guys come here, because we don't put on airs. We don't lie. We tell you like it is. You come into our house. You have seen our kitchen.
We don't filter things.
We don't filter. That's a good pun. Okay,
Matt Lauer should filter his presents that he gives away. Mm-hmm. As the co-host of NBC's Today, now if you have children, maybe they should leave the room. Matt Lauer once gave a colleague a sex toy as a present and included an explicit note on what he wanted to use, how he wanted to use it on her, which left her mortified. This is where remember we talked about baseball?
Yeah.
That's not a come on. That's not a pick me up. That's like, would you like to go out for coffee? You don't immediately go there, by the way.
Right.
All right. On another day, he summoned a different female employee to his office and then dropped his pants showing his male genitalia after the employee declined to do anything. Why is it that these stories are always the same? Weinstein, Bill Clinton, Louis C.K. dropping their pants, asking strange women to do something to their male genitalia.
I almost want to go back to our video.
What is going on? Is this something in porn? Is this something? Is this is this a fantasy that men put in porn, and so they're reenacting it, thinking that like because they have seen it reenacted, like randomly a stranger meets another stranger and they drop their pants, and in porn does that happen to where women just oh my gosh yes.
I don't know. I've never seen porn, but I don't think that is.
Is this a common theme? It's a Hugh Hefner theme. We obviously know that that's what he had his girls do to him.
But where is the video that we did of the baseball? Because I want them to go back. And here it is. All right. So it's called Naked Charlie Rose, John Conyers Sexual Harassment, and How Baseball Can Stop Abusive, Powerful Men. That is your homework. You have to go, as a Resistance Chicks viewer, you must go and watch that episode. It is hilarious. You will enjoy the heck out of it. But it starts with, we got to start at home plate. You know, the old, he went to first, second, and third.
Home plate, remember this. Age, gender.
Marital status.
Letting someone else know your marital status. Mm-hmm. If either of you are married, that's time to walk away. You don't play the game.
Right.
Who's your mommy? Who's your daddy? Are we related? Could I be your father?
Yeah.
Those kind of things. Could I be your mother? These kind of things need to be, I mean, you know, with Macron, I mean, she's old enough to be his mom. Okay.
Yeah. Here's, the point is that there are logical steps that you take in a relationship when you want to pursue even just a physical encounter with someone. And it doesn't start usually with just dropping your pants. That's not how you lead into that sort of thing. You know, maybe just ask them a question. How do you feel about me? Do you like me? I kind of like you. Let's get it on. I mean, even that, something like that, I would be okay with that. But that's not where he starts. He starts with just dropping the pants.
I'm not okay with that.
What I'm saying is you don't just expose yourself to people without asking if they're interested in the southern exposure. Okay.
All right. So he would sometimes quiz female producers about who they'd slept with, offering to trade names. He loved to engage in a crass quiz game with men and women in the office, F, marry, or kill, in which he would identify the female co-host he'd most like to sleep with. These accounts of Lair's behavior... Here.
It has plastic on it.
I was going to have you take it off for the
dog
dog treat. At NBC are the result of a 2-month investigation by Variety with dozens of interviews that with current and former staffers. Variety did an intense interview. It's not fake thing. Variety has talked to 3 women who identified themselves as victims of sexual harassment by Lauer, and their stories have been corroborated by friends or colleagues that they told at the time. They have asked for now to be unnamed, fearing professional repercussions. On Wednesday, NBC announced that Lauer was fired from Today. It was a stunning move. What is beeping? A co-host who is widely considered the crown jewel of the network's news division with a $25 million annual salary. The boy got $50,000 a show. $50,000 a show. The cause of his dismissal, according to sources, was a detailed complaint from another current NBC employee about inappropriate sexual conduct from Lauer that started on a trip at the Sochi Olympics in 2014 and continued for several months. The employee met with Human Resources at NBC on Monday night. In a statement, NBC News chairman Andy Lack called this the first complaint about his behavior in over 20 years and acknowledged that it may not be the last. We were also presented with reason to believe this may not have been an isolated incident, Lack said. Several women told Variety they complained to executives at the network about Lauer's behavior, which fell on deaf ears given the lucrative advertising surrounding the Today Show. NBC declined to comment for most of Lauer's tenure at Today. The morning news show was number 1. So what we're seeing here is that, and everybody says, oh my gosh, it's so on the right and the left. It's on the right and the left. Everybody is now coming out, which is why we are winning. We've got Harvey Weinstein, Charlie Rose, Kevin Spacey, Louis C.K., and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And obviously Katie Couric knew of it. She experienced it, but she didn't speak out. Mm-hmm. She knew about his secret button.
Because she's just as corrupt as anybody else.
Oh, she's sick. She's definitely sick. Let's see. I guess, and still more harassment news. CNN tells me it dismissed Teddy Davis, senior producer of Jake Tapper's State of the Union program.
Are you guys online?
We are online. It's coming. I guess it had a little bit of issues.
I'm off.
Oh.
Refresh your, if you're having, well, I guess I typed
Refresh.
it. Refresh. If you're having issues.
Jake Tapper's State of the Union program over behavior that does not align with the standards. So Jake Tapper's senior producer is out. Matt Lauer had a producer, a guy who would book people on the show. Mm-hmm. He was just fired as well. So we had a tag team there.
You know, it's so great because Trump got his kind of big nameness. Obviously, he was always Trump, but he became likable when he did The Apprentice. And he really did coin the "you're fired" thing. And even we watched it. My grandma, she loved to watch The Apprentice, and she would ask us to sit there and watch it with her. So we did for a couple of seasons. And so everybody, for a while, it was cool to go around and say, "you're fired." And now it's almost like prophetic. It's coming to pass. Everybody's being fired for all these sexual misconduct.
So in all things national, public, taxpayer funded. Another guy is out. This guy, just a weird-looking dude, man. Garrison Kellior was accused of inappropriate behavior. Minnesota Public Radio says. He is the creator and former host of A Prairie Home Companion.
Which is a pretty big deal. That was a really wholesome-ish, radio program. I think everybody has listened to it.
Right. Is that the Saturday morning show that we
I think around here it was on Saturday.
Dad would listen to it. Is that the one we went to go see live? In Wisconsin?
I think
that was in Wisconsin.
Could be.
I'm trying to imagine. Okay, sorry. We saw one of these things live.
But it wasn't the Prairie Home Companion. It was something like that.
Okay. All right. So I guess he has been accused of inappropriate behavior with someone who worked with him, and he has now been fired. In a statement, NPR member station says it learned of the allegations in October and has retained an outside law firm to investigate. In statements to the Minnesota Star Tribune, Kellier said that he put his hand on a woman's bare back and then alleged that he had been groped by dozens of female fans. I don't know the
extent
of these allegations.
But he's been fired.
But he has been fired. And so I have decided that with everyone dropping like flies from the media, they're going to have to replace everyone
with conservatives.
So I am saying, why not give conservatives a chance? Mm-hmm. Yeah, or truthers a chance in the media.
Libertarians.
Right? And the first thing I will do as head of the NPR is to dismantle it.
Shut it down.
Because nothing should be taxpayer funded that is a propaganda wing for the government.
Yeah, I think we all know about that with the BBC in the UK. So it's all propaganda, and you pay to be brainwashed. It's a beautiful thing. They really are a genius.
Yeah, absolutely.
To come up with this.
Right.
You pay for us to brainwash you.
Right. So here we go. 19 in the media so far. Teddy Davis is a senior producer of Jake Tapper's State of the Union, fired over 3 allegations. Matt Zimmerman is the booker of the show for Matt Lauer's TV show. I guess they work together on their sexual escapades. David Sweeney, National Public Radio Chief News Editor, left the company over allegations of sexual harassment. Garrison Kellier, National Public Radio. You're going to see a pattern here. Charlie Rose, PBS news anchor, PBS Public Broadcasting, anyone? Taxpayer-funded pervert.
Yep.
Glenn Thrush, New York Times White House correspondent. Mark Haperlin, Bloomberg NBC news commentator, so we know that NBC has some problems there. Lockhart Steele, editorial director for Vox. And then another one for Vox. David Korn, MSNBC contributor. Washington bureau chief for Mother Jones. Michael Oresky, senior vice president and editorial director for NPR. Again, they just have to go away. Leon Wildletter, 3 decades as literary editor of The New Republic. Hamilton Fish, publisher of The New Republic. They obviously tag team. You see a lot of tag teamings. A couple guys from the Rolling Stone.
That's a big shocker there.
And 3 people from The Guardian.
And you know what? It's kind of like this. The only way that most people get a job in this kind of an industry is who you know.
Right.
So I would venture to say that like people hire like people. And that's why we're seeing multiple people. And then it becomes acceptable when you have multiple people in an office. That's what abusers do. Right. They get more people in on it. So then it seems like the norm and it's acceptable.
Our own little story, and we'll probably say this a couple times while we're through this and probably get ridden out of our dad's will, which is fine. So our grandfather came over from Sweden.
Yes.
And he started a couple companies, and he started a company in, we're not going to go into what it was, but he started some big companies. Fabrication companies and restaurant supply companies. And he was well known around town. Like, I would meet strangers, or they only hire lookers there.
Yep. As far as the female jobs go.
Female jobs go.
Secretaries.
The male people in my family are these people. We call them the Swedish Mafia for a reason. Okay? I'm not going to go into any more details than that, but I have been around it. I know these kind of people. They're disgusting. Power corrupts. Money corrupts. And then there's just a mindset.
Right.
That is broken in your mind, where you don't treat people with love and kindness and respect. You treat them as objects and things that you can use, even as far as treating them as slaves, like in China.
Well, and here's another thing from our own personal experience. I also know what kind of women often, and not always, get hired in these situations. I don't know what kind of women they are when they start, but once they get in it, they figure it's sink or swim. And so they just give into it. I remember one time, I think I was like 15 years old, pretty old. I was back from Oklahoma visiting my dad, and we had to go to his office. And there was, he had this kind of meetup, and they kind of, I didn't know who this lady was. Like, he wasn't my dad's girlfriend. My dad had a girlfriend for like years at this point. And they were getting really all close and touchy-feely. And then they had to go into the other room for a minute and shut the door. And it was all kind of really like creepy to me. And she was giggling and all flirty. And it all started because she was like, "You were so great at that party the other night." And my dad has a history of exposing himself at parties. This I know. She kind of put it on. Every time I would call to the office to talk to my dad, I would say, "Hey, this is Michelle, Brad's daughter." I listed my dad's name. Sorry. Well, whatever. He can sue me. And all the women would be like, "Oh, I'll get him right away." The men in our family, they thrived, and these men do too, on these positions of power where they are looked up to as like gods.
And you're afraid. You're afraid to speak out.
Right.
Because of what that they can do to you, because they are that evil. They will bring you down.
Right.
They will tear you to pieces.
Correct.
All right. So this Joe Scarborough, dude, this was so weird. Back in, I think, let's see. I'm not exactly sure when. I'm gonna get this right for you guys for this story. All right. So there is a mystery involving left-wing Scarborough's dead intern Lori Clestuis. How do you, I don't know how to say it. Is one of those things that has been floating around the internet for quite some time now. Something that's been whispered about, something rarely spoken of out loud. In fact, after he mentioned the incident on Twitter back in 2010, a left-wing blogger, Marcos Molitas, was blackballed by MSNBC, where he had been a regular contributor. In July 2001, Lori
Klausutis
was just a 28-year-old when she was found dead in Scarborough's congressional district office. The Morning Joe co-host was a sitting Republican congressman at the time, and the coroner, who had donated to Scarborough's campaign, ruled that the intern fainted due to a heart irregularity.
And hit her poor little head that killed her.
Exactly. And 2 months later, less than a year into his fourth term, Scarborough abruptly resigned from Congress, citing his desire to spend more time with his family. Now, there is no evidence of foul play. However, let's investigate. All right. So, moving on to, you know what? This clip here goes along with this. The slush fund for disgusting behavior.
Joining me now, the lawmaker.
Let me know if you can't hear it. I'm going to leave the mic here.
Congressional Accountability and the Hush Fund Elimination Act, Congressman Ron DeSantis, member of several key committees, including Foreign Affairs, Judiciary, Oversight, a member of the Freedom Caucus. And Congressman, first of all, congratulations. You're as good as your word. You said you would be doing this, introducing that legislation this week, and you have done so. And I think that the American people, let alone the folks who your constituents, are grateful to you for doing so. So good to have you with us.
Well, it's good to be here, Lou. I mean, just think about it. We have this issue, as you mentioned, with Matt Lauer, celebrities, other places. in the Congress right now, you actually have a system set up which tells potential perpetrators, hey, if you go ahead and harass somebody and you're guilty, the taxpayer will go ahead and clean up after you and pay for your damages. And guess what? We'll keep it secret so nobody will know about it.
It's such a beautiful
what
thing.
kind of a behavior are you trying to promote there? So we need to rip this system out root and branch. We need to expose the people who have violated the taxpayers' trust by using their dollars to shield their own misconduct. And we need to do it quick. And the thing is, Lou, this is a big bipartisan bill. You have people on both sides of the aisle who are fed up with this. So I think the momentum is with us, and it's just a matter of time. But I don't think we're going to be able to have the leadership say, oh, we got to hold a hearing or this or that. No, we need exposure now.
I love that it's called a slush fund.
You know what? I think they need to pick another name.
Yeah, maybe not exposure.
Maybe not exposure. Yeah, maybe not. All right, so well, you know what? We're going to do this one, and then we're going to go on to Jayda. Let me see here. Poor John
have
Conyers.
gone to. And if it's people or situations like Representative Conyers, they need to step down, and we need to move on.
Josh, what about the discrepancy between how the private sector is dealing with these allegations
It's going to play.
It'll go.
in this big societal movement, and how the Congress is handling that? People get frustrated with Washington because they think that the laws don't apply to them or that they're above it all, and this just exacerbates that problem.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. That's exactly the case, and I think it's extremely disappointing for most Americans to take a look at what's happening with either Representative Conyers or Senator Franken and having all this swept under the rug like they're basically like it never happened.
Just like it never happened.
Of course.
All right, so here we go.
He will be grabbing women in the nursing home.
I was listening to The War Room, which is Alex Jones' TV show with Owen Schroyer that comes on at like 4 or something, and just randomly picked up on this and was floored. President Trump tweeted out 3 of Jayda Fransen's tweets.
It wouldn't be a big deal. It would still be a totally big deal. It wouldn't be as big of a deal if the tweets hadn't been what they were.
Okay, so first, to let you know a little bit about Jayda. She is a crusader for truth, and her main focus is outing the inconsistencies in Islam, the abuses in the Quran, and how women are treated, and how there is a Muslim invasion that has spurred acid attacks and rapes.
Right.
And this has to be addressed. You can still do this and have Muslim neighbors. Our friend Horatio has said the Muslims who came before this recent influx came because
they are British now.
They wanted to become part of the UK.
Yeah.
And most of them didn't wear the hijab. But there's been a switch with this new influx of this Muslim migration caused by George Soros, with a clash of cultures where, to give you an example, the kind of mindset, a Somali boy came over when he was 14. I think he's 19 now, and to America, and he raped 2 women at knife point and robbed one at an ATM. Now, he is getting out of prison because they're saying that he's no longer a threat, and he says, I didn't know what I was doing then. Now, what my point is if he came over from Somalia as 14, and that was what he was taught, that it was okay to do.
Right.
Those are the kind of young men that maybe they can be rehabilitated. Maybe.
Right.
However, they're not put into any sort of rehabilitation process. That is why you see the rapes over and over again. And then people call it anti-Muslim when it's really a culture clash.
Correct.
Because Islam isn't really a religion. It's become a culture.
And I think to point out more what Jayda is doing, she goes into these areas of town where they were historical, like Luton or something like that.
Right.
Where, just 20 years ago.
Beautifully British.
And now they are all Muslim. And you know what? I think that the Brits might be okay with that if it weren't for the fact that they were being treated so horribly by the Muslim community that is there.
Right. I'm going to show you a clip of her walking through, which will give you goosebumps on their Christian patrol. But first, let's see the tweet that Donald Trump tweeted out. Now, she tweets this out. Islamist mob pushes teenage boy off of roof and beats him to death. You're not going to be able to see it all because it's grainy, and I'm not going to be able to make it big.
You don't really need to even hear it. That's not the point. And I don't think you want to see the details anyway.
This is a mob of young men. ISIS flag. This is disturbing.
I don't need to watch it again. I already watched it.
You are going to hear a woman scream, or somebody scream.
Yeah.
And then they continue to beat him.
I'm sure it's whoever is videotaping is the one screaming.
This is not okay.
And so, our president, Donald Trump, tweets that video out from Jayda. What's next?
I thought that Mother Mary was venerated in the Quran and that Jesus was the immaculate son of Mary.
Apparently not.
لم يعبد في أرض الشام سوى الله ولن يقم إلا حكم الله ولن يعبد الجبت والطاغوت في أرض الشام بعد هذه الأيام بإذن الله سبحانه وتعالى.
Somebody needs to translate that.
بغير الله ودين الله.
I hate Mary. I hate Jesus. Bang.
That's really loud. Get any loud.
Allahu Akbar.
Wow.
And actually, you see all over the internet where people go into churches and destroy things. And
Right.
they're Muslims.
Right.
All right. Now this is disturbing as well. This is
awful. I'm not watching this one again.
a young Muslim boy migrant beats up a Dutch boy on crutches.
On crutches.
I'm going to try to make this a bit bigger. If it
stops.
stops.
Make it bigger, yeah, so they can really see how awful it is.
The videos seem to like stop right in the middle when I break them big.
It's really, I mean, I don't even know what's going on here in this video, but the filming guy at one point, the guy that's holding the camera, he's like, let's get on, let's go, let's go, let's do this. And he's laughing.
White privilege. So you can see why they would be a little bit upset. Now I want to take you to Jayda's page where she puts this, she has now been arrested and found guilty. I'm going to tell you what she's been found guilty of after she gives her plea to Donald Trump here.
Message to the President of the United States,
leave it loud
Donald
so
Trump.
the mic picks it up.
I'd like to start by saying how delighted I am that as the leader of the free world, you took the time out to retweet 3 of my videos on Twitter today. And you've shed light on my plight here in Britain, in that I am facing prison for giving a speech in which I criticised Islam. This is evidence that Britain has become Sharia compliant, and our establishment have now instituted legislation that constitutes blasphemy laws here in the UK. On behalf of myself and every citizen of Britain, and for everyone, every man and woman that has fought, bled and died for us to have the freedom of speech, I am appealing to you for your help. I am appealing for your intervention before I am thrown in jail and others receive the same treatment for simply speaking out. God bless you, President Donald Trump.
This woman is as far as I'm concerned, a British national hero. She is fighting for your country, for all of our UK viewers. She is fighting for all of the innocents that don't have a voice.
Absolutely. We will probably still cover this again on Sunday because I'm thinking this is going to still be a really big deal. Donald Trump tweeted out to Theresa May, at Theresa May, which I love this. This is so funny. Because Theresa May, of course, didn't take issue with the Muslim videos.
She took issue with the fact that Donald Trump tweeted out Jayda.
Theresa May, don't focus on me. Focus on the destructive, radical Islamic terrorism that is taking place within the United Kingdom. We are doing just fine.
Wow.
We don't have the same things that you guys have in the UK. And it's disturbing to watch.
Well said, Donald Trump.
So here is one of these clips that will just give you goosebumps here. I'm going to play it for a little bit and see if I can make it bigger.
There's about 20 or so of us. We're giving out newspapers. We've got our Christian crosses. And we are going through the town centre. We've already had a bit of hostility, but we're marching through. This is a British town.
This is one of the first videos we ever watched of her. It's really, really powerful.
Fuck you, mate. You say so? It's your country, is it? Yeah.
It's a Christian country. It's a Christian country. Yes, it is. This is a Christian country.
You're jealous that we're taking over?
You're not taking over.
Why are we jealous you're taking over?
Why are you taking over? How are you taking over?
Mate, we've got it, mate. We've got it.
You've got it. Is that what you think?
You haven't got it.
But you've got people scared. You don't have us scared. No. You think you can take over town and tell us that it's your country? You've taken over. Not for long. See this cross? This will prevail. This is a British town. I'm coming where I like. I'm not where I like.
But if you had a Muslim symbol, you wouldn't say anything.
I've got to be Muslim to come to Lair. You've come down and you're not here. Why are you talking about in a minute. I don't have no religion shit either. Hold on a minute. Why is this so okay? Fuck you. You fucking think you got the fuck on. That's why. Come on, why are you not?
Whoa! Stay back.
Just like that. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? Oh really? This is you're being hidden because you're meant to control it. This is what I wrote you. Covering up so that you don't get raped. That's why this is a Christian country. This is a Christian country. This is a Christian country. It's against the law.
So this is one of the clips that we first saw of Jayda and Britain First, and
it was a couple of years ago.
When you see them walking through with their crosses in a Christian country that's Britain, if a British person, if they had done this in a British town, Yorkshire, or some other country town where there's not a huge
Muslim population,
people might smile or laugh or say, "Oh, what?"
But they're not going to come and verbally assault them
and get angry and say "F you," blah blah blah,
or "This is our country, we're taking over, and you're mad that we're taking over." Right. So let's tell them why she was arrested and why she faces jail time.
Okay, so I hope I have this correct. This is from the Independent UK, who's actually against Jayda, and their title is Jayda Fransen guilty, Britain First deputy leader convicted after abusing Muslim woman in hijab. Now,
abusing sounds really harsh. Did she hit this Muslim woman, Leah?
No.
She didn't touch her?
No.
But she's being convicted for abuse?
Yes.
What kind of abuse?
Telling the truth. Basically, what she told this woman in a hijab was that women in Islam are forced to wear hijab because men in Islam can't control their sexual urges.
Which is that's a self-profession.
That's what they say.
Tell people that.
That's why at 14 you have to wear them. That's why all the imams say women have to cover their hair because men can't control their urges. So when you tell a woman that,
right?
They say, "No, I wear it for Allah. I wear it for God.
I wear it because I want to wear it."
But they have been brainwashed into wearing it because they think somehow that they're going to remain pure. But there's a clip in the Quran which says
a clip,
a snippet, whatever.
a verse.
Which can be interpreted two ways. And you want to tell them real quick what it says?
Yeah, there was an amazing woman that did, she's Muslim. And she's like, listen, she doesn't wear the hijab. Because it was really...
Historically,
it was for, like, there were a bunch of robbers. And the women used to have to go out to go to the bathroom in the woods.
Right.
Okay? And so they would
only the wealthy women
wore a certain kind of covering.
Because they could afford it.
Exactly. And so the verse is supposed to mean to dress like these wealthy women because the poorer women were allowed to be raped. It was okay for them to be raped because they didn't have family to protect them. So the verse is supposed to say, dress like, the rich women so that you won't be molested. And at that time, culturally, that's what the women wore. And that's why that verse is actually in the Quran. So there are several sound-minded Muslims that understand it that way and don't wear it but most of them are not in an Islamic state country.
Okay, so in January, she was fined £2,000 for wearing a political uniform, shouting at Sumaya Sharp during a Christian patrol in Bury Park in Luton. Fransen admitted in telling Miss Sharp that Muslim men force women to cover up to avoid being raped because they cannot control their sexual urges, adding, that's why they are coming into my country raping women across the continent, which is absolutely 1,000% truth. What's happening in Sweden. If you ask these men who just come over, a lot of them will say she deserved it. She was uncovered. Women will tell you in Iran, in Saudi Arabia, in Egypt, that they fear going out without the hijab because their parents tell them you may be raped in these Muslim countries.
Okay, but my blood is starting to boil because what's making me so angry is that she's facing jail time, and this is happening in Canada, it is happening in Sweden, and it is starting to happen in the UK. Right here's a prime example where you are literally facing jail time if you say something that offends someone.
But the big thing is that Miss Sharp was with her 4 young children at the time, and so children don't need to know the truth about Islam.
You know what? It doesn't matter. We have freedom of speech, and I would like, now that we have it on video, for your UK police to go and arrest all of those men that said the F-bomb and cursed into Miss Fransen's face.
Isn't
because
that abusive?
I find that incredibly abusive.
F you. That's a term that
today
is violent.
We were picking up walnuts at a local tennis. It's a little park, and it's been there our entire lives. And you can play tennis, and they've got these big, giant concrete backboards, and they face each other. And there were some walnuts that had fallen in there, and it wasn't until I actually got in there and I started to pick up the walnuts and put them in our 5-gallon bucket, and it sounded like a tennis match going, and I'm like, I was like, this is so amazing. I'm like, you realize that sound actually travels. And I know it sounds silly, but I just had a moment where like, sound is a thing. It moves. It has force. Okay? It went from the bucket to the backboard to the other backboard and back again. And once it hits something, it stops. Sound has power. Not only does it have power when you hear the actual word that resonates with your mind and you know what it means and it has all these connotations, but it literally has a force. So much force that in the beginning, when God said, let there be light, his noise that he made, his voice speaking, created all of creation. When we say something to someone, it has an effect. All right? So, if you're going to jail people for this force that I agree exists, then it goes both ways. And from what I understand, this encounter that Miss Fransen had with this woman was after the fact that she has already been multiple times assaulted by Muslim men saying very vile, awful, hurtful things in her face. And never once has any of those men been arrested or put in jail for that force that they hurled at her as a man.
So Fransen says, the reason I said them was because from everything I have studied, I understand them to be true. District Judge Caroline Mellenby said she believed the group had gone into the area looking for trouble, but said Miss Sharp had been mistaken as an easy target. I have no doubts the words used towards Miss Sharp in her expression represented everything against her and what she believes in. In other words, offensive, insulting, abusive, and in my judgment, intended to cause offense and alarm and distress to her religion. Fransen said it's just absolutely absurd in the court. It was just a really clear display of Islamic appeasement. She said, we have an establishment that is against anything patriotic in this country. And we'll just, you know what, let's let Jayden say what she's going to say because she says it better.
She does. She's very well spoken.
Thank you for joining us. Now, we had to make a rapid exit from the town of Luton because all sorts of security concerns, plus there's High Court injunctions in effect. It's a problematical town for us. As you probably know by now, Jayda Fransen, her 2-day trial ended today and she was found guilty on the charges of wearing a political uniform, which in effect was a Britain First beanie hat, believe it or not, and religiously aggravated harassment. And she was found guilty on both. Jayda, can you give us a bit of a roundup?
Yeah, I mean, to keep it brief, it was just absolutely absurd in the court. It was just a really clear display of Islamic appeasement. That's all that we've just seen. You know, the witnesses that were called, they were coming out with all conflicting stories. The prosecution and Bedfordshire Police embarrassed themselves the way they conducted this. In fact, one of the charges they had against me they had to drop because it was in such a mess. The charge of failing to surrender to bail was in such a mess. And they couldn't even get the dates together that they had to drop it in the end because they confused everyone in the courtroom. But yeah, I mean, look, I've been found guilty, and are we surprised because we have an establishment that is against anything patriotic in this country and is only concerned with appeasing the Muslim community?
And to put things in perspective, you might remember last year, myself and Jayda, we were travelling in a car through Bury Park in Luton, and we filmed a Muslim man punch me in the face. The police said no further action. The man punched me on video, and he got a no further action. Yet Jayda gets in a heated argument with a white ginger Muslim convert, and the convert calls Jayda a slapper, makes menacing gestures, and is very derogatory. The police prosecute Jayda.
It's crazy.
And they prosecute her, and I've never seen a judge that is so left-wing. She was bending over backwards, like actually being unlawful at several points, trying to get restraining orders. I really want to protect this woman, Samantha Sharp.
As if she was in danger. She pursued us on that day. She was heckling our activists, she was following them, she was shouting, she was hurling abuse. She wasn't intimidated on that day. She was trying to intimidate me, which a lot of you will know isn't particularly easy to do. But look, this judge was just beyond over the top when it came to this witness, wanting to protect her as if she needs.
The judge was actually sitting there in court saying, I really want to protect this Samantha Sharp, the white Muslim convert. I really want to protect her. And yesterday she gave such an eloquent explanation of what happened that day. And we were just sitting there thinking, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
So Jayda is now a convicted criminal with a criminal record. But to be honest, you know, we're not going to give up from this. We are going to carry on. We're never going to give up. We're never going to back down. We're never going to slacken. But the fact of the matter is, it's one rule of law for Muslims, the protected species in this country, and another for British people.
So, this is my America First beanie hat.
I like that.
And if I were to walk around with a flag on a beanie hat through a Muslim neighborhood, could I be convicted of wearing a political uniform? She literally was convicted of wearing a political uniform that was a beanie hat with America, with Britain First on it. That was their political uniform that she was convicted of. You can't wear whatever you want to wear in Britain.
And who cares? Like, even if a political uniform is a thing, which I've never ever heard that before, I guess here in the United States, you would be dressed up as a donkey or...
This is actually the first step.
Elephant.
I think this is the first step to a hijab, actually.
But it's not a thing. Like, okay, so you have your political uniform. What's so wrong with that? They have their daggum uniforms. I count their little Muslim uniform as a uniform.
I think they have to wear the thing, and then the thing goes around their neck, and then it's a thing.
It's a good look for you.
Yeah. They have to wear the thing that covers their forehead, because foreheads might cause men to have sexual urges.
Yeah.
You know those foreheads. So, Jayda, I'm very proud of you.
Me too.
I stand behind you 5,000%. We love you. and continue on doing your thing. And we're going to pray that the UK wakes up. And Nigel, if you're watching,
Nigel, Lee and I have a
said
beef.
that she was convicted of a hate crime, and this is not a hate crime. This is free speech.
And Nigel,
people
you don't even agree with the phrase hate crime.
Right.
There is no such thing as hate crime unless that crime actually damages someone or their property.
Right.
That is a hate crime. You throw a rock at someone's window based on their religion or their ethnicity, color of their skin, whatever. Hate crime. Okay?
Right.
You hurl an insult through the air we just covered how powerful that is. Not exactly the same thing.
I want to show you just a couple more videos that were on Jayda's wall just today. She caused this man to have to shut up his book stand. He was a Muslim because he said that sex with kids was okay.
Translation of the Quran. I have read the hadith. I've read about how Muhammad took a child bride at the age of 6. But these aren't wrong teachings. How do you feel about your prophet marrying a 6-year-old and consummating the wedding, consummating the marriage at 9 years of age? So you think that's wrong?
Okay, let me go to the quote. It was that at 9 years old he got married, but it was consummated when he was much more, when she was older, about 12
She was
years
9.
old.
Oh, so okay, so it's okay to have sex with a 12-year-old, sir. Is that what you? If she is
that direct quote? Can we quote you on that?
We just quote you on that. Did I give you Islam, ladies and gentlemen? Do we need to say any more? You should be ashamed. All of you have no place in this country. No place in this country. Standing here condoning paedophilia.
I believe it's all right to marry underage girls because it's part of Islam.
This man here has just stood and told me it's okay to have sex with a 12-year-old if she is mature. This is Islam, ladies and gentlemen.
Take that back to a...
That's the kind of stuff that she does because no one else is doing it. So if you literally have people who believe that it's okay, it's a good thing to out them in public. Because if there's nothing that the authorities would do, at least you can shame them. I want to show you one more video. This is in Germany. A video appears showing a migrant bragging of being part of a devastating gang rape of a virgin. This is from a German Facebook group with this title, Singen says no to asylum home. I do not know how long this was allowed up because in Germany has the harshest speech laws.
Just read it.
Yeah. Dude, we were 7 guys. Some were on the floor, 3 on beds. They were bunk beds. You know what? I don't want to read it all. He just goes on to say there was a bunch of dudes and it was a virgin and it was wonderful and it was awesome. And it was, if you can go through Jayda's feed and watch that yourself and you will be very, very, very upset.
But Miss Theresa May, I guess if Donald Trump had retweeted that, then also there would be no condemnation for those in the video, but only condemnation for our president tweeting out a truther's tweet.
Right. Okay, so a couple more things as we wrap up the news for tonight. All right, so this is absolutely hilarious. I hope none of you have booked your flights on American Airlines
for
over Christmas.
Well, on Christmas Day.
Well, it's all of December.
Okay.
But in December, there are 15,000 flights that do not have pilots for them for American Airlines.
Maybe they're deciding that it would be a good time to start like launching, seeing if the stewardesses can fly a plane. I mean, there's not much to flying a plane anyway, right? It's all autopilot these days.
Yeah.
So maybe they're launching a robotic, animatronic, AI.
So what happened was there was a glitch in their computer system that allowed for every single American Airline pilot to take off for Christmas.
So, of course, they did.
So now they're offering time and a half to any pilot who will come back and work those flights.
You're going to have to offer triple time, man.
Which is hilarious. Literally every single pilot took off for Christmas.
Of course they will, if they can. Why not? I ain't flying Christmas. I'm not flying at Christmas as a person, as a patron. I mean, this is crazy. That's insanity. So if you could take off, yeah, that's great.
Okay, so I want to give you a few news updates on the dossier, the FBI, the crazy things going on there, because there's something like new every day that's breaking. Donald Trump tweeted. I'll show you this first. Donald Trump tweeted out this is he was a whistleblower over the email scandal, and his name he says, had the information Crooked Hillary's emails been released, there would have been harm to national security. Charles McCullough, former Intel Communications Inspector General. Now, he was on Tucker Carlson live last night, which I watched, and I'll just tell you, he told Tucker Carlson that he was straight as a board. He was not partisan, but he was raising red flags over this email. He said, no one does this. Who sets up their own secure server? And he went on to say that this was highly irregular, that documents don't have to be classified, marked classified to be classified. Mm-hmm. They have to contain classified information. And so there was a spin that everybody was trying to do, was saying they didn't have the C in the corner or whatever. No. If it has classified information, this is information about sources, methods.
Know if something that you have is classified. It's that simple. Right. I mean, come on.
Right.
More about the Clinton emails and the fallout to Charles McCullough, the former internal watchdog for the U.S. intelligence community.
What should the American public know about those 22 top secret Clinton emails?
I've heard people say this is overblown. I've heard people say this is much ado about nothing. Had the information been released, there would have been harm to national security.
So putting lives at risk.
Absolutely. Sources and methods, lives, operations.
Speaking exclusively to Fox, McCullough says he went to Director of National Intelligence James Clapper about a year before the presidential election. The intelligence agencies had just found their classified information in the Clinton emails.
He read through these affidavits very thoroughly, and he said this is extremely reckless. And he mentioned something about the campaign will have heartburn about that or something.
Shortly after, McCullough says his team was marginalized.
You felt you were on your own in this.
I was totally on my own, and I was told by senior officials to keep the director out of it.
You drafted this letter in January 2016.
Sure did.
In the letter, McCullough told Congress that emails beyond top secret passed through the former Secretary of State's unsecured personal server.
All of a sudden, I became a shill of the right. I was told by members of Congress, be careful, you're losing your credibility. There are people out to get you.
By February 2016, Clinton campaign emails released via WikiLeaks suggest McCullough was a target.
I think there was certainly a coordinated strategy. I not only think it, I think it very, very much so.
Based on evidence?
Yes.
Even though the FBI email investigation was far from complete, the Clinton campaign nailed down its talking points.
Was there an effort to deliberately mislead the public about the classified emails?
Absolutely. There was an effort certainly on the part of the campaign to mislead people into thinking that there was nothing to see here. Frankly, the thing that disappointed me the most was the president saying,
there's classified and then there's classified.
A lot of people in the intel community spend a lot of time keeping secrets secret. And to sort of inject that sense of confusion into people, I don't think was altogether responsible.
As Election Day approached, McCullough says the threats went further, singling him out and another senior government email investigator.
You were given a warning?
I was told that we would be the first two to be fired with her administration. That was
You're fired
definitely
for
going to
telling the
happen.
truth.
Is that how it's supposed to be?
No, I was, in this context, a whistleblower. I was explaining to Congress, I was doing exactly what they had expected me to do, and all of a sudden I was the enemy.
More than 2,100 classified emails passed through Clinton's personal server, and to this day, no one is accountable.
If you had done this, what would have happened to you?
I'd be sitting in Leavenworth right now.
Fox News asked a spokesman for the Clinton campaign, the office of a senior Senate Democrat, as well as a former director of national...
So, Britt Hume was on with Tucker Carlson, and they talked about the legalities of this and the fact that Clinton was put into a special box, treated with kid gloves.
Yep.
There was the tarmac meeting.
Yep.
And where Comey had to come out and say this wasn't an investigation, it was just a matter. and James Comey drafted her exoneration way before interviewing her or anyone else, gave immunity to 5 people who obviously didn't come up with anything that would produce a conviction. You don't give immunity to people unless you know that what they say is going to produce a conviction.
Correct.
Nobody in any law enforcement agency gives immunity because what they're saying is these people have done things that are criminal. That's why they need immunity.
Right.
And so literally 5 people should be in jail plus Clinton. And the idea is that you give immunity to the lower people, like in a mob,
right,
so that you get the kingpin.
Correct.
So that they spill all the beans.
But there was no kingpin that went down.
No, everybody just got what the immunity
agreements.
They
just gave away immunity. It was just like get out of jail free cards.
The immunity agreements were given so that their testimonies would never be unsealed and never used in a way to prosecute the real people who did things that were wrong, including smashing things with hammers and using bleach bit. This is worse than Russiagate. That is why Clinton has to do what happened. That is why they have to push Russiagate, because if they don't, we would see Hillary Clinton in her own investigation and in prison.
But I'm hopeful. I really am hopeful. And
I
here's
am,
why.
we are winning.
Because we are winning. And every single day, one of these little flies drops. And I don't know if you can count Matt Lauer as a little fly,
Charlie
making 50
Rose
grand
is
a day.
not little. Matt Lauer is as big as they get. So there's nobody in the media, in my opinion, that's bigger than Matt Lauer.
Currently, yeah. I agree.
He is they used his face for years. I mean, they love his face. They used him in the presidential debates.
Right.
They used him in the Olympics for years.
I know.
He plays this part of this wonderful dad, even though he's separated from his wife. They live completely separate, and he has all these sexual liaisons behind the locked lair.
The Lauer Lair.
The Lauer Lair. And so he has been a criminal and a disgusting pig. Even, you know what? It's still wrong to be a disgusting pig.
Agreed.
It's still wrong to have sex with multiple women, even if it's consensual.
You should not be a public figure.
Especially if you're married.
Right.
This is the Bill Clinton syndrome.
So the good news is these people are dropping like flies.
Yes.
Okay. I do not... I know I get a lot of comments from you guys. We haven't done very many comments tonight, and I apologize for that, but we've got a lot to cover. I get a lot of comments that say Hillary will never go down. I disagree.
She was shielded by the media, and her shield is going down. Have you never seen Star Trek? Have you never seen the Vulcans?
We are about to go Trekkie on you.
They have the stealth force field or whatever, where they can come in unseen. However, when that force field drops,
isn't
and
that
you
the
see
Romulans?
Well, the Vulcans, the Romulans, whoever comes in with the stealth, okay? Well, when that drops, then you can see your enemy. Then you can fire on your enemy.
The Klingons can do it too.
And then once you can fire on your enemy, then their shields can go down, and then their ship goes down.
It's called a cloaking device.
So the media, thank you. That's what I was looking for, the cloaking device. Exactly.
You're welcome.
All right, live long and prosper. All right, so anyways... what's happening is, I told this to Michelle, I said, when is this going to turn around from stupid sexual liaisons to the Federal Reserve, to taking down these things? And Michelle said, and as soon as I said it, the answer came right into my head, and then she said it. You can't take down the public school system. You can't take down the Federal Reserve. You can't take down the globalists until you take down their force field.
Because they are being propped up by the mainstream media and by Hollywood and by Congress and the Senate.
So if God is moving, which we believe God is moving,
He is.
And God came into the White House in January 2016, which we believe.
Yes.
The first thing that God is going to do is take down the enemy's force field.
Not just their force field, but their cloaking device, which is totally different. The force field protects them. The cloaking device hides them.
Well, what I love about that analogy with the cloaking device is that Matt Lauer had a cloaking device. He was the everyday dad.
Yep.
Charlie Rose was the great grandpa that everybody thought was going to just whisper, great Christmas stories into children's, now he's nightmares instead of bedtime stories.
Perv.
Right? Harvey Weinstein and all of Hollywood. So all these movies, people are tired of movies, and to top it all off, to throw in a bonus, because God's all about bonus, we're going to get rid of football. Which is great because then it's going to make families great again on Sundays afternoons.
Absolutely.
And bring, instead of watching football, how about families go and play a game or build something together and do something?
And it's not even that we're going to get rid of it. It's self-imploding.
150 NFL employees were axed. I think...
What was it? NFL employees?
ESPN.
Yeah.
But covering all sports. Because when I open up my newspaper, there is this much of the news and this much of sports. It takes almost the same amount of paper coverage. Sports has become an idol, and what we're seeing is that these idols are coming down. Right? We don't want to hear from you anymore.
I mean, what did people actually worship before they worshipped things like football and politics and entertainment? Before all of that existed, and you have to remember, it's only been in the past like 100 years. How did people occupy themselves? What did they put up? What did they aspire towards? What was their higher, achievement? Maybe God, education, family,
hunting, farming, building things,
entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
Okay, these are wholesome activities. It boggles my mind that within the last 100 years, we have had a worldwide societal shift.
Megyn Kelly says, I knew the Charlie Rose thing was coming and I'd heard rumors about Matt. She reveals she'd heard about Lauer's alleged sexual misconduct. Now, I want to do 3 quick funny stories, in my opinion, in short quips.
Quippy.
Brown University will allow students to self-identify as a person of color.
Yes! I'm so glad because, people, Michelle is black inside. Okay? And I can finally identify as a black woman. Okay? They look young. They don't get wrinkly. They have rhythm. And they really are beautiful. So, I'm going to identify as a black woman heretofore.
And I guess it all came out because some Asians weren't on the list of minority statuses. So now they're letting anybody to identify as a minority and a person of color. So I love what you just said there. And if you want to go to college, you can go to Brown and say you're Brown. Yes. All right, moving on. In Honolulu.
I had like a Michael Jackson issue. You know what I'm saying? Like my skin faded by itself.
Right.
Because that really happened.
Right.
Okay.
Honolulu police are ordering anybody with a medical marijuana card to surrender their firearms.
You want to smoke pot, can't have a gun.
They literally, on November 28th, the Honolulu Star reported that police have been sending letters throughout the year, and the one dated November 13th was signed by the Honolulu police chief, Susan Ballard, which says, your medical marijuana use disqualifies you from ownership of firearms and ammunition. The problem with this is what they didn't also say that you can't have a driver's license.
Yeah, I know because
you can do as much harm with a driver's license and a car as you can a gun.
Right. They weren't really thinking that one.
Now, a lot of people take medical marijuana for physical problems, not for mental problems. And why is it that they can drive, but they can't own a firearm?
Here's my question. If you have a constant prescription of Oxycontin, can you still buy a firearm? Because I got to tell you, you can get a lot more messed up on Oxycontin than you can on marijuana. And Leah and I are not pro-marijuana.
No, I'm not. But this is ridiculous. Okay, lastly, this one just takes the cake. Seriously. Sadiq Khan bringing gender-neutral toilets to London to reflect the incredible diversity of the city. Are you ready? London's left Liberal mayor is using detailed guidance to developers calling for gender-neutral toilets to reflect the incredible diversity of the capital. Labour politician Sadiq Khan declared that he had vowed to be a mayor for all Londoners and determined to ensure that everyone has the ability to enjoy our great city to the fullest, which means if you're full and you need to let something out and you're transgender, we got a toity for you. The former lawyer, who is known as the known in the U.S. for representing the anti-white, anti-Semitic Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan, was accused of courting Islamists during his election campaign. He goes on to say, toilets are a vital public service, he declared, describing how, in his view, they can help to shape the experience of the capital for residents and visitors. We need a range of toilets, should we say loo, We need a range of loos.
No, they actually call it the toilet. Like the restroom itself in the UK is called the toilet. You could say it says toilets that way. Yes, I think you can say the loo, but toilet is what they call it.
What do they call the toilet?
It's a toilet too. So the toilet is the toilet. The toilet is in the toilet. So, yeah. Whoa. You would walk in and you say, "Where are the toilets?"
Okay.
Or where's the
circle within a circle. Okay. We need a range of toilets that reflect the incredible diversity of this city, giving people the confidence to move around London with dignity. Now,
Patriot Gallery would like to contribute to the toilet.
London was an international place to visit. Everybody from all around the world.
Yes.
But until they get rid of all those Muslims, because Muslims have taken over London, nobody's going to London.
Yeah, you're really not helping travel.
Shut down.
Right. Nobody wants to come. It's not a tourist destination quite as much as it used to be. All right, carry on.
So this is actually a snippet from that Jordan Peterson put out from Alberta that goes along with this that Breitbart put in here. You can't see it, but this Alberta University, it's these little letters here. It looks like an eye exam. If you can read this.
LGBTQ2 SPIA plus community.
So we need to make sure we have toilets for everyone. That's a lot of toilets.
If there's going to be a plus sign on the end, just to make it easier, couldn't we just stop it at LGB plus?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Andrea Williams, chief executive of Christian Concern, told George Osborne's Evening Standard that Khan's policy was just the latest move in an ideological tsunami that sweeps common sense and biological reality aside. The mayor's focus on LGBT, and he didn't use all of them, obviously, activism, will also raise eyebrows among critics who have been taking him to task for soaring crime rates. But don't worry about crime. We're going to make sure that there is a toilet for everyone, whether you're lesbian or gay or bi or trans or Q or S or whatever these other things are. PIA 2.
That's a plus sign.
No, there's a 2.
Oh yeah, the 2. I don't know what the 2 is.
Now at this Alberta University, I want to read a couple of these for you. Refer to people by their name, eh? In correct pronouns as specified by the individual, eh? The only way you can know those is to ask. It is impossible to know someone's gender or pronouns based on a person's appearance. Now, it also says, challenge assumptions, exclamation points. Studies completed in the past 5 years have estimated that over 50% of Generation Zs born 1995 or later do not identify strictly as heterosexual or cisgender.
Pause. What happened, Hillary? What? Can you tell us that? Can you at least tell us? Prior to 1950, you came out of your mama and the doctor said, it's a boy or it's a girl. And now they're popping out and he says, what do you want it to be? And you can encourage it to make its own decision. And let's not call it he or she or boy or girl or blue or pink or whatever. You can't even do yellow or green. It has to be, let it decide what it wants. What happened?
You know what? Millie Weaver did a great thing, and we don't have time because we need to really wrap this up. Millie Weaver did an expose on a book, a Disney book.
The Feminist Baby.
The Feminist Baby. I'll just show you a picture of it, and we're going to wrap things up.
Can't you just bring up her video? It's so great.
Yeah.
The Feminist Baby, because you want to raise your child with feminist values. Disney.
I'm going to play just a clip.
Hang on, bring it down, bring it down.
So I was out and about the other day. I went to Target to find some children's books for my 2-year-old when I happened to come across this book. Feminist Baby. That's right, you heard me. They're already indoctrinating children with feminism. Just to make sure that this was not just a gag present, I went to DisneyBooks.com, which is listed on the back of the book, and sure enough, Disney has it listed for 0 to 2-year-olds. Well, first of all, how does a child ages 0 to 2 even grasp the concept of feminism? Well, who better than to explain it to them than Rainbow Snatch? Good morning, little theys, z's, rainbows, and purple penguins. Today we're going to have story time with drag queens. And I'm Rainbow Snatch. I identify as a trans, multi-dimensional, non-binary being. So please refer to me as my proper pronoun as they. So today we're going to be reading a very, very special book written by a powerful woman author who's very smart. Her name is Lauren Brantz. Feminist Baby by Lauren Brantz, published by Disney Hyperion. Feminist Baby loves to dance. Feminist Baby says no to pants.
That's inappropriate.
That's inappropriate.
What the f***? I'm not some pretty f***ing helpless princess in distress. I'm pretty f***ing powerful and ready for sex.
This is promoting pedophilia with children, telling them to take off their clothes and then a picture of a naked baby looking all empowered and proud. It's no wonder that Disney published this book. However, from a perspective of a parent, this disturbs me because you're promoting children taking their clothes off, peeing and pooping everywhere. Give me a break. Feminist Baby likes pink and blue. Likes pink or blue, so they're obviously promoting the whole you can choose whatever gender you want to be.
Sometimes she'll throw up on you.
Feminist Baby chooses what to wear. It's her choice, her body, to choose what she wears. One of the things I don't like about this already is it's telling the children that they have a choice over their parents' choice. Mom says, put this on, you're going to church. Nope, I'm not. I'm wearing a Ninja Turtle costume. Sorry, I'm a feminist baby.
With a new makeup challenge, full face using only kids makeup, I'm like, girl, Jesus, take the wheel.
I am a boy that loves to wear makeup.
And if you don't like it, she doesn't care.
I'm reading Facebook.
Feminist Baby makes lots of noise.
No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA.
Feminist Baby throws her toys. Get that camera out of my face. Well, it looks like Feminist Baby is going to be spending an awful lot of time in timeout with that attitude. Feminist Baby plays with dolls and cars. This is promoting the whole gender role thing where you've seen these hippie LGBTQ parents where they're having their little boys wear dresses and play with Barbie dolls, but also cars, and the girls, and you can't even tell who's what and what's what. But the odd thing is, it seems like they're always kind of pushing the little boys into the Barbies and stuff a little bit more than they're pushing the girls into, you know, Xbox or Ninja Turtles. And when she sings, she's a baby rock star.
I am a nasty woman.
Feminist Baby is as smart as she seems. Have you seen how smart some of these feminists seem in real life?
I am the feminist who is out to ruin your life. I am the feminist who is pushing your daughter down the slippery slope of sluthood.
This is the whole going against the grain, going against tradition, going against your parents, teaching children to be naughty. Feminist Baby can be whatever she dreams. Yes, that's right, little purple penguins, unicorns, little theys and z's. You can be whatever it is you dream. And if they don't like it, well then anyone who doesn't call you by your proper pronoun, you make sure to notify us so we can round them up and put them in prison camps.
You will address me by whatever my proper pronoun is for the day that I decided to be, or you will face the consequences.
I love Millie so much. Okay, so that was really, really, really enjoyable. I'm glad we played the whole thing.
That was better like the second time I watched it.
Yeah, it was. It was better watching it with you guys. Do you have any more news for these people? All right, so speaking of Millie, and I think this is a good time to let you guys know, if you didn't see it, Leah and I were on InfoWars, their 34-hour Cyber Monday stream. However, I tried to download the 4-hour segment this afternoon, and it was going to take forever, and it was working, and then it failed. So I'm still trying to download it so that I can cut our segment and upload it to our channel. Hopefully I can get that done either tonight or tomorrow sometime, so you guys can go back and watch it. But if you missed it, it's at the first segment, and I'll just drop the link in the description here after we sign off. It was a really enjoyable segment that we did with Millie, and thank you, Millie, for having us. So I want you guys to go back and watch that.
One of our viewers, we might do an interview with somebody connected to the Bundy Ranch. I think that there was a mistrial, and 3 of them, including Ammon and Cliven, have been released, from what I understand. I want to cover that a little bit more maybe tomorrow. So,
but he refused to. He was like, if everybody's not getting released, then I'm not gonna leave.
Oh, I didn't read that one.
So we'll see. We'll have to bring more.
Please like, comment, and subscribe
to Mass Bay 3 and Resistance Chicks Patriot Gallery.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but let's just put it back where people were sound-minded.
And
when people are sound-minded, what this book is teaching children is to stay in their 2 and their 3s, the terrible 2s and the terrible 3s. And people are still in that age today. They think they're immature. We have 80-year-olds, 60-year-olds, Hillary Clinton. They are still acting like 2 and 3-year-old children because they never were properly disciplined out of their 2 and 3-year-old. And so feminists think this is great. And a lot of men think this is globalist, elitist. They think this is the way it is, but they were never disciplined as children to come out and start growing up and mature. They're still 2 and 3-year-olds in their minds.
Embarrassing.
It is. It's absolutely embarrassing. So, for those of you that don't know, we go live every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think we may, sometime soon, whether it's this Sunday or next Sunday, I'm going to get with So What and see if we can do an interview with him.
So funny. I love this
he
man.
was able to do a video of us doing the segment with Millie. He really broke it down, so you guys can go and watch it there and watch So What's breakdown of us on InfoWars.
Wouldn't that be better for you just to re-upload his video? Maybe you could download it instead.
Maybe I could. I might have to try that.
Ask him if it's okay.
So hang on, we have a little bit of a mystery that I have to, and I should start out the next segment with this. Someone sent us the mixed sticks. These are, where's the other one? You lost the other mixed stick? Here it is. All right.
Maia's soap's in here.
Oh yeah, don't forget to, in the description, go and buy Maia's products. You can email her. They are absolutely amazing.
We don't make any money by doing our show, but we want to plug people who make awesome things, and Maia does.
This is soap. Her other bar soap is in the
How do they get a hold of her?
Bathroom. Maia is ME Healthy Products on Facebook, and her email is in the description of almost all of our videos. So is Josh's contact with the Young Living Essential Oils. So since you guys we don't want your money. We don't want you to have to contribute to. We just do this.
Bowls? That was back in March.
Yeah, we still have these amazing nesting bowls.
We don't know. We like to thank people when they send things.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we have a PO box.
PO box 107.
We like to read your letters. We love your cards. They're awesome.
Milford, Ohio 45150. Claire says, living like Claire, you need to go and subscribe to her family's channel, Big Family Homestead. She says, Maia's products have literally changed my life.
You ordered some of Maia's products?
Well, Maia comes from Big Family Homestead as far as finding us.
I didn't know that.
So they know each other from, a lot of people come from Big Family Homestead. I know that Donna Terry does.
Redneck Survivalist?
I don't know. Yeah, does he? And there's a couple of other people in the chat that do as well. Baker Mom, I think, does as well. So, all right, you guys, we are going to sign off here. Don't know if we're coming back tomorrow, but thank you for being with us. Thank you to the moderators, Will, Maia, Gary. I'm trying to think if anybody else was here. Worth a Look is sick tonight. He has an awful, awful stomach bug. The smile is it's
puking.
He's down for the count. Say a prayer for him that he gets better soon. Maia sent me some for my birthday. She's the big sis that I never had. I love that so much. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Bakermon, yep, found you guys both from Big Family Homestead. So go subscribe to Go and Betty, Cypher News, all the channels that we give a Say Perfect that we always tell you to subscribe to. All right, you guys, thank you for being with us tonight. Leave all of your pertinent comments in the comment section in the video after it processes.
And we aren't the only ones being censored. I don't know if you guys know this, but our videos are being... We thought we did. We found a way around the censorship by going live.
Yes.
And what would happen is, like, our video would get out there. First, our videos were getting out there. We'd make a video and a topic would be put in a recommended.
Correct.
And people found our videos. So then they censored
wind of us.
And we got put in the basement.
Shut them down.
And it's not just us. I'm watching Sargon of Akkad and InfoWars and Josh Sigerson and everybody, Louder with Crowder, everybody. So then we got like wind that if you go live, then it gets put up there and people come and find your video.
Right.
But then somehow they found us with that way too. So you guys are coming. I'm not sure how, what we have to do is we have to get on a subject that the mainstream media hasn't, I think, put out there
I'm going to start doing a countdown every time we go live. We are 52 subscribers away from being at 10,000. So I'm very, very excited about that. Once we actually hit the 10,000, we'll do a little bit of a jig and a celebration, which should be
It doesn't matter how many subscribers we have.
Yeah, but it's a little milestone.
But I want you guys to know that what happened, we started this channel back in January, and there would be times when we'd get 100 subscribers a day, 200 subscribers a day, and so and then all of a sudden it just like stalled off in the end of May.
And we're not doing this for money.
No.
We're absolutely, it was never, that's not the deal. That's not why we do this. However, just to give you an idea of how much censorship is going on, within the first month of us launching our channel, we were making $250 a month.
Actually, it was up to $350.
Yeah. Within the first that was within the first 2 months.
Right.
Okay. Now we're down to like $56. If that doesn't tell you how much we're being censored, and that's when we only had like 1,000 subscribers.
Right.
Okay. We were making that much money just with that little amount of subscribers. So that just goes to show you the amount of censorship. I know that Big Family Homestead has had a big hit. Because of this, they're being censored for homesteading videos.
His homesteading videos, from what I understand, Horatio from the UK is watching your show. Living like Lair, and said that your dad is having to, put up his videos. They're being demonetized. And what's crazy about it is that you can Google, like, there's a bunch of child porn on there. There's a video that has
monetization. They have ads on these things.
There's a video that's like guess her age, which is about guessing a girl's age to where you can have sex with her. And it has like 8 ads in it that plays through the whole thing.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that they don't care about sexual perversion. They don't care about pedophilia. They're just demonetizing anybody who's speaking the truth.
Claire says that it's ridiculous. They unmonetize every video. As soon as you put it up, boom, it's not. And what's very strange is that we still have ads that play on our videos.
Right.
Certain ads will play. I know a lot of you guys have to sit through an ad just to get to us, but obviously it's not realizing itself.
So this is a globalist trick. It's a deep state trick. YouTube was about normal people putting out videos, and now it's all Time Magazine and NBC, and
it's the carousel. They literally are just promoting every mainstream media channel. And we were talking about this the other day. It used to be that YouTube was called YouTube because it was, viewer videos.
So I just want to show you an example. Videos. It used to be that user videos would come up, okay?
And now the first videos that you get are the Today Show, E! News, Fox News, The View. Who knows what that is?
This one has something, and then we're going down. That's just Matt Lauer. Now this one is actually a really good example because Googling things like the Charlottesville or Las Vegas. I'm going to get sometimes 1 or 2 pages worth of
ESPN, Fox News,
high impact flicks, stuff in the mall. Wow, I'm seeing some people there. That's pretty cool.
Well, I think that's because the Las Vegas issue has been flooded, but they're still seeing a lot of Fox News. Anything that's current currently trending, that's when it's important for them to make sure that that carousel is pushing the
exactly.
MSM.
It's Guardian Fox. As you look through it, you're going to see mostly it's called the carousel, and you have to keep going to find
Project Veritas exposed the YouTube guy as saying, you know, we're doing this carousel thing, and if you get past the first 2 pages of the carousel, then you're just literally deliberately looking for Alex Jones.
Right. So they might, looks like they're putting in a few people here and there who have a tremendous amount of views.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have to. If there's that many, there's millions upon millions of views, it has to go to the top.
Right. But they're not allowing for people to get to the top.
Right.
Okay.
All right, you guys. So once again, thank you for being here. We love you. God loves you. God bless. And we will see you back definitely on Friday at 6 p.m. Yes, she does.
I was cold, all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid. But you called my name.